Hello ladies and gentlemen, today I'll be presenting the solution The Global Classroom for a problem regarding children and barriers. I'm Ryan Siddiqui and this is for Team Academy Spark Challenge 2021. Jumping right into it, in today's agenda we will be dealing with the problem, the design approach which I have taken to reach the solution, and a business model canvas on the feasibility and on the revenue model. So moving to the problem which I was selected to solve was how to connect children facing borders. And these borders can be defined as geographical borders, linguistical borders, and even cultural barriers. If, for example, there are two individuals, one from, let's say, India and the other from the United Kingdom, they will be growing up in two very different cultures. And the question is, how do we have children able to understand cultures from a very young age and be open-minded? And now the reason why this is important is the fact, as we can see through COVID-19 and the past 10 years, the world is becoming more and more interconnected. And as such, we have a need for individuals who are able to be global citizens. Furthermore, it's been 2020 and there's still a lot of racism and a lot of hate throughout the world. One way to reduce that is to have the next generation be more understanding about their peers across the globe. And this is a way we can do that. So moving in to the design approach. So first we analyze the problem as we did before. And as you can see, we saw what issues are there currently, such as the cultural barriers, a linguistic barrier with regards to languages being very different, and how to communicate between them. And then we looked at existing solutions. Currently one of the biggest existing solutions is PenPal, which has been there throughout the ages and has adapted quite well. Right now PenPal is a very large company and has a huge variety of options. However, we can push this further to develop a new system based on the developments that have happened through COVID-19 and online teaching. And this will create a unique value proposition, which I will talk about later. So moving on to the solution. And before that, one thing I would like to comment on is the reason why we have to do this. It's easier to build strong children than repair broken men. And this is very reminiscent of what we're dealing with today. As each generation moves forward, the previous generation seems more fragmented. And so if we can have a holistic generation, it will help grow and push the world forward. Moving to the outline of the solution, what we will be developing is a mobile application which can later on be transferred to computer software depending on the need and based on prototyping. So what this will do is this will connect institutions with institutions. We'll have a network of institutions, and each institution will have a set number of classrooms. The classrooms will be based on grade level, the amount of students in the class, and how many teachers there are per classroom. And what this will do is this will allow classrooms to interact with other classrooms of other institutes. And so what we've ended up is we've basically paired two classrooms. So there might be a classroom in, let's say, a high school in the United States in grade 7. Similarly, we link it to a high school in the United Kingdom in grade 7, or over here, as we would say, year 7. And doing this will allow us to connect the children and allow them to go into joint learning programs, commit projects together, and interact together under teacher supervision. Now moving on to the workflow. This is a very basic workflow and we'll just be touching lightly upon it. So as you can see over here, the green represents the student, and we're talking about the classroom page and the messages. The red over here represents what is viewable by the teacher and administration. Moving forward, we can see over here that there's more information regarding the profile and the groups and storage parameters. This is much more detailed in the workflow. I'm just skimming right through it. And over here you'll see a difference in color. The light blue and blue signify an automatic process that does not require a manual input, or rather that does not require something that happens automatically. Moving on to the business model canvas. I've highlighted two major parts which I believe are the most important for this presentation from the business model canvas. And the first is the revenue model and the feasibility that comes with it. And the second is the value proposition. The value proposition I've gone through a bit earlier when I was explaining the solution and the workflow model. But for the revenue model, what will happen is we'll be charging each institute. So for example, if there's an institute based in the United Kingdom, based on how many individuals they have, the location, and the funding that they're getting, whether private or state, they would have a different rate. And the reason for that is the fund that we would get from schools in higher funded areas is that those funds will be funneled towards schools in third world countries where the students would not have the technology or would struggle with the training needed to actually be able to take part in the program. And in doing so, it allows individuals who wouldn't have the opportunity to actually be able to interact and still develop a holistic global mindset. And so I would like to thank you for your time and for your presentation. This is Ryan Siddiqui for the Team Academy Challenge 2021.